And right now, a member of the House Intelligence Committee, Democratic Congressman Denny Hack of Washington. Congressman, thanks so much for the time.
You're welcome, Kate.
A lot of moving parts today, so let's just get to it. What do you make of Trump Jr.'s attorney's statement there, saying that they were ready to give a full account of what happened? Do you have any indication of who stopped them?
So anytime you're talking through your lawyers, it's probably not a good thing for you. My advice to him would be it's far past time to come clean. If there's anything we've learned in the last 6 months, it's that the truth will be out. You know, the truth is that there is an awful lot about this circumstance that reminds me of the Watergate era, which I lived through. And in particular, this week, I thought what resonated with me was a quote by President Nixon's counselor, his chief attorney, who at one point said, "Mr. President, there is a cancer growing on your presidency." And that's the case here. No constructive purpose can be served by continuing to deny and change stories. The truth of the matter is that Jared Kushner's story has changed more often than the Republican health care bill, and we know that every time it changes, it gets worse. So for Donald Trump Jr. and for Jared Kushner and for the president himself, I would suggest it's far past time to come clean. It would be the political equivalent of chemotherapy if they did.
That's one way of putting it, I guess. If it turned out that it was someone within the White House that stopped Donald Trump Jr. from coming forth and giving a full account, because clearly that's not what happened at first, if it was someone at the White House who stopped them from doing that, what would that mean?
Well, I think, frankly, Kate, we're far past collusion, and that is one of the charges of the Intel Committee, to seek out whether or not there was collusion with the Russian government with respect to the efforts to interfere in our 2016 presidential election. We're far past that at this stage.
Then where are we?
We are at the point where, as I said earlier, it's far past time for this administration to come clean. This is getting very serious, Kate. Look, I do not believe that articles of impeachment should come before an investigation is complete, and we are at the beginning or near the middle of ours. We're knee deep into it. But I think it is ominous, and it should be ominous to the President of the United States, that the percentage of Americans who are calling for impeachment is almost double what it was at this stage of the Watergate era. So he ought to take this a whole lot more seriously than their repeated denial and their repeated attempts to change the subject are.
That poll coming out yesterday, we're taking a look at that as well. As you know, Congressman, the United States, as is required, announced yesterday that Iran is in compliance with the nuclear deal that was agreed to in the Obama administration. That deal was recertified. We are now just learning that President Trump threw a wrench in that plan kind of at the 11th hour yesterday, putting that announcement on hold because he actually wanted to consider his options. We are told there were voices inside the White House that were basically making the argument that Iran wasn't in compliance without offering necessarily concrete examples. He was clearly talked out of that. But what's your reaction?
Well, here we go again, Kate. If the facts don't meet what it is, your particular objective, then you change the facts to adapt to the circumstance. Look, there is no scenario under which this world is better off if Iran develops nuclear power and a nuclear weaponry. And the fact of the matter is that this agreement has been effective in preventing them from doing that. And the president should acknowledge that and move forward accordingly.
On another issue of sanctions, in light of your Russia investigation, Russian officials are now saying that they are almost near a deal with the Trump administration to get back the Russian compounds in the U.S. that were seized back in the Obama years. What would you need to get comfortable giving back those compounds to Russia?
Nothing. I think it's time that the House of Representatives actually enact the increased sanctions, which the Senate passed a few weeks ago on a vote of 98-2. Look, the fact of the matter is Russia interfered and hacked the 2016 presidential elections, as well as the elections in France, as well as the upcoming elections in Germany. And unless we want them to do more of this, we have to hold them accountable. And so I think it's incumbent
What do you
upon
think
the
is
House.
behind the delay in the House?
Well, I think everybody knows the oil industry is weighed in.
You think it's the oil industry? You don't think it's the White House?
Well, for sure the White House. In this case, I think oil industry, White House, I won't say they're synonymous, but the fact of the matter is they're serving one another's interests.
You don't think that it's just the White House saying that this interferes with their ability to conduct foreign policy? Other presidents in the past have had issues with similar types of sanctions and restrictions being put on them as well.
Sure, they're saying that. That does not change the fact that Russia interfered in our elections, and they will do it again unless we hold them accountable. And I'm not aware of any other proposal before us that would hold them accountable. The House should pass, the Senate pass, increased sanctions on Russia so that they do not do this to us again. Period. Full stop.
Congressman Denny Hack, great to get your perspective. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you so much. It's no secret.